I want to introduce you to Joe Wethje. Joe Wethje is one of my students. Joe, I want you to introduce yourself, introduce your name, where you're from, and let's start with that.
Yeah, good stuff. Hey, everybody, I'm Joe Wethje. I live in Maryland and really excited to spend a couple minutes here talking about the multifamily program.
So, Joe, tell the folks watching a little bit about what was going on in your life before you joined the program. Uh, Tell me a little bit about the real estate investing business before we started working together. Like, what did you go through? What were you thinking?
Sure. So I've had a couple small townhouse investments over the last decade plus, just two or three. And as I started reading different books and following different real estate investors, started seeing this pie with apartment complexes really intrigued me, but the complexity of them scared me a little bit. But I had some passive investments right out of school, and they served me well. But this really intrigued me to kind of learn about this more and really dive into it.
Okay. So is it safe to say that you come from a background where you make some decent money and you have some discretionary income where you're trying to put to use in the highest and best way possible into real estate?
Yeah, I mean, I'm in my mid 30s now, and a big part of this is delayed gratification, right? You read about that, you sense that, and you really want to build towards that. And so my 20s and 30s here are really seeking to set up passive income for later in my life. I got three small kids, and being able to position that effectively as best as we possibly can and use that as an investment for the future was really what I was looking towards.
Great. I appreciate you telling me what you're trying to accomplish with real estate investing, because a lot of times people don't have the goal. They just know they need to invest, but you have a goal. You want to create some passive income. You have your career, you have your family. That's outstanding. It looks like you've been pursuing real estate for a while. What were the challenges that you were facing in the beginning, and what were some of the biggest roadblocks you faced?
So I'd say twofold. The first is just the complexity. These aren't normal deals. The structure of these deals and the terminology really feels like a niche community. And so as I started reading on them, and there's blogs and videos and YouTube and stuff out there, the complexity of the deal was scary. And also the obstacle, one of them was just around the large deal flow. What I mean by that is the capital that's required to start. It's easy. Some people might have $5,000 or $10,000 to stick into stock or crypto. This is a different ball game when you're looking at a potential six-figure investment. That can be daunting. And who are you handing that money to? Is that wire transfer that you're about to click send? Is it going into the right bucket? And there's folks out there. So really trying to trust the process and understand kind of what you're doing, what the steps are. And the program really helped. They helped with that. You did a great job just depicting what are the terminology. And one thing I really wanted to highlight was the short lengths of the videos that you put out there. I think we're able to digest and be able to take notes on what the flow is and keep it in bite-sized format, which I think is huge. I think just reading a huge book or spending a 2-hour class or those can be helpful, but they're hard to digest. And as a newer investor in this, it was really important to take this in bite-sized format and be able to proactively progress here. And so that was a big thing I liked about the program.
And guys at home, so what Joe's talking about is the program has two parts, right? It has the self-paced video. So when Joe and I are not on a Zoom call or on a phone going through a live deal together with live mentorship, he has access to essentially the entire program videoed, so he can always reference it on his cell phone or computer whenever he wants. So Joe, one last question before I get into the next transition is,
sure,
if you had to boil it down to one thing, what do you think prevented you from achieving your goal in investing into apartments? Like, what was the one, like the singular thing that was the most daunting to you?
Probably just the size and scale of what we're actually doing. You go buy a $200,000 townhome and you're trying to flip $500 a month. That's one angle, right? But the complexity and the scope and scale of what of what this really is, the magnitude of it, you feel the weight. It's a 220 apartment complex deal. It sounds really cool to say, and you can go see some of the first investment I was able to do with your help early in 2021. I could drive there. It was less than 60 minutes away. And so to be able to see it helped. I know that doesn't always work out. Some of the opportunities may be out of region. I get that for folks. But I was able to, was in my local geography in the Mid-Atlantic area, which was really neat. But yeah, the biggest thing was just the scope of it, Cameron. That was just the scale of it, and then understanding just the nuances that were required was probably the biggest thing.
So you're saying you discovered this coaching program with me. That was in the beginning of 2021, right?
Yep, just less than 6 months ago.
And what were you looking for when you first signed up with me? Like, were you just looking for everything you just said, kind of the where to find the deal, how to understand the term and lingo and the math behind the deal to know kind of what the difference is between a bad deal and a good deal? Like, what were you, or was it just baseline education and getting comfortable with, just the 101 aspect of multifamily?
No, I really wanted to know the key differentiators. I wanted to be able to talk to a professional, someone that has had a decade, or in your case 2 decades worth of experience. That mattered to me. And the fact that you're in your early 40s was also appealing to me, because I still feel very relatable. Some of the folks that are in this game a little bit longer in the tooth, I really like that you're relatable, and the timeliness in which you operate, the speed is very, very impressive to me too. So that caught my eyes. We were texting, emailing, and on the phone. I operate that. I currently have a full-time position in a corporate organization, a Fortune 500 business. So my time's demanding as well. And so I was looking for an expert and someone who kind of spoke and thought the way that I did, which is high level of urgency, high level of speed, and I want to have fun with it too. I mean, I think that's one thing that the uniqueness and complexity is one thing. I've used that word more than once, but it was fun too, to be able to go through this and see it start and come to completion, and actually get my first check here in the third quarter was super neat, and really a culmination of a long-term goal for me.
So what was there a moment during the program where you're like, yeah, this is going to work? Did something click, or did you watch some videos, or did we have a Zoom coaching session where something just clicked for you?
So I think when I opened the program, the first thing that stood out, very first time logging in my Mac, I'll never forget, was just the volume that you had put forward surprised me. There was, don't quote me on this, guys, if you're watching this, but I want to say there was over 50 or 60 clips. I mean, it was comprehensive, and and then the passion in which you talk, Cameron, caught my eye and attention too. It's, again, to read a book or to watch something, this is something that you're super passionate about. You love it. You eat and breathe and drink it. And so to me, that stuck out, and that was something that was contagious to me right off the cuff. Your intro video was just spot on. And again, going back to, you had made this comment, but I want to park here for a second. Being able to go in at your leisure, your time, to be able to access this on your cell phone and digest the nuances of it is awesome. Be able to go in at any time and look at the content, look over it, listen to it multiple times. I've had to do that on some of the ones that are a little bit trickier. That's awesome to have that library and that resource. So that was your passion that stuck out. And then I think just the comprehensiveness on the program.
I appreciate it, Joe. So this is the part where everybody wants to know. Tell me about your first deal. Tell me about any detail that you're comfortable sharing. I have not told anybody watching your first deal. If you want to, if you're comfortable sharing it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I would say if you're fortunate enough to go through this program, one, Cameron advocates for you, he's advocated for me, which was awesome, and really positioned the deal to me. This wasn't one that, outside of going through the program and spending the coaching sessions via email and via these types of calls, wouldn't have been possible. Period. Just wouldn't have been possible. It wouldn't be in play. Wouldn't have closed my first apartment complex deal at 36 with a full-time job. I have 30 sales reps on my team in the Mid-Atlantic area, very, very busy, married for just under 15 years and 3 kids. So you can do this passively. Again, I made a quick comment, secured my first quarterly check, which was just super exciting and just a personal goal. So the deal was here in the Mid-Atlantic. I was able to contribute in that low 6-figure range to the deal. As a conglomerate, I want to say there was between 10 and 12 investors, maybe a tad more that came forward and partnered together on this, and really excited to continue to see it come to fruition. So outside of going through this program, one, I wouldn't have been versed to vet through the material, and then two, wouldn't be able to to have the leverage to be able to work with you and say, hey, does this deal make sense? Why does it make sense? What are some things that make you nervous being in multiple of these deals and dealing with it for so long? Is there any obstacles that you sense and see? And you green lighted it. You said, hey, this is really good. Here's why it's really good. And then being able to leverage it myself against the content I had learned just made it super seamless. And quick plug, maybe a quick shameless plug. I'm close to my second deal here, hopefully closing here at the end of August with you too. So super excited.
Oh, nice. And no, you're going to have some good monthly income from that, and over time, you're going to be able to, when these deals refinance, you're going to get all your cash back, and then you're going to be able to repeat this over and over again, and literally create what we call legacy wealth. So I know you have kids, Joe, and you could one day pass, that snowball that you're rolling down the proverbial hill. It just gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and you can just keep passing that and rolling it over forever. And you might not know this, but you have a nice retirement coming for you. And so I'm excited about that. Is there anyone in your life that you shared this win with? And I'm asking that because I know the answer. I know you got a buddy that you shared a deal with.
Yep.
I believe he's in North Carolina, and you got him involved in your deal. And
Yeah.
it seems like what you took what you learned, you bought a deal, and then you shared it with friends, and then they're participating with you and investing with you.
Sure. Yeah, I'll make a quick comment. Absolutely. So close friend, and even a business partner. I've done some of this, the single family houses, townhouses that I alluded to earlier. Being able to bring a close friend and be able to share that win and success was awesome. And again, someone that's going through the class and understanding, what we're trying to do, what we're trying to accomplish. He has 4 small kids, and so super excited too. And it was the same type of feel. If he was speaking on this call, I think he said the same type of things, that without going through the program and having direct contact and insights with you, it would not have been possible. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. So yeah, I loved going through it and still use it as a resource. I mean, this is something
Awesome.
that, again, once you go in the program, everybody, what's neat is you're in, you're all the way in, and you get access and to work with Cameron and to work with his team, and that's super exciting. And again, really appreciate the opportunity.
Awesome, brother. I'm so proud of you. So last question, I'll let you go.
Okay.
If someone was on the fence about joining the multifamily coaching program, what would you say to them, like to push them over, like to try? What would you say to them? What would your
Yeah,
advice be?
I would say, one, I would say, if you don't take any risks, the level of reward in your life is going to be limited. There's a part of just human nature and what, that you have to take some sort of risk. And I know that might not be the best counsel or words of wisdom, but there's a component of that was true for me, and that was true for the buddy that I mentioned earlier. But I would say I'm a regular Joe. My name happens to be Joe, and I took this class. I took your advice. I went through the content. I did it on nights and weekends. Again, full-time job. This is passive income for me. This is not my full-time. This is not my full-time job, and it's worked. It's worked in 2021. It's worked during COVID. And again, I'm on my second deal and could be more excited to participate. So I would say jump in. It's well worth it. You'll be blown away by the content, and I think set yourself up for some serious deal flow here in the next couple of years.
Awesome, Joe. Really appreciate your time today. You have a good day. I appreciate all your words of wisdom. Thank you so much.
Good stuff, guys. Appreciate it.